Hey tax students, in this video, we're going to do a walkthrough to prepare the black tax return in ProConnect Tax Online. We've already done the black return back last week in the Chapter 4 Homework B simulation in Cengage. So you should already be familiar with most of the facts for this assignment. But let me open up the assignment and you'll see some links here, this link here to look at the data, look at the instructions. Yes, you don't have to go back into the textbook or into the simulation. So it'll look like this, a PDF file, easier to read than the textbook. And then another link inside of the assignment probably will be this video, yes, so you can view this walkthrough. Also, another link would be this solution file here. So you can check your tax return with this PDF tax return. For example, here is the 1040 form. I'm also going to have you prepare the Hawaii, the state income tax return. And I'm not going to grade the Hawaii return since we haven't really gone through Hawaii law. In fact, probably the Hawaii return for this couple shouldn't be a resident return. If they moved into the state during the year or leave the state during the year, they probably would file a non-resident or part-year resident tax return. That's not N11, but N15. Yeah, but just make sure you have that Hawaii return here at the end of your file. And all I'm going to do is look at the federal return with all of these forms and schedules. And you can compare, in fact, this return with the simulation we had done last week. All the numbers should be the same. So let's get started in ProConnect. So log into your ProConnect account and set up the blacks as a client. I've already done the return here, so basically I'm just showing you the screens that you should be seeing. You're going to be adding a new client. Here you can see I've already have the blacks as a client, really Walter as a client. You can sort all these columns just by clicking on the header. Here's Walter now at the top. And let me open it up and you can see the return I've already finished. Or if you want to edit his information, here you can click on this, Edit Client. Again, this is what you would have entered already when you've set up the client. So let me go into the return, either here or back here in this tax return folder. You can see all two returns I've done, including the previous return in ProConnect we did a couple weeks ago. But let me go into the blacks return. So the first screen you usually see when you enter return is not this input screen, but this profile screen here. Make sure that the federal is checked off here. This is going to be the 1040. And now here, our Hawaii state tax return is checked off. If you don't see the Hawaii return here, you can always add state returns by here in the drop-down list and checking off or clicking off the state you want. Yeah. Okay, so federal 1040, Hawaii N11. Then in the input screen, this is the table of contents that pretty much have all the links to all the income deductions and credits. Yeah, but if you want to look at the smaller input list, this menu should pop open here, or here I can close it. So the first one usually we look at is this client information, most of which is already entered based upon setting up the client. I'm assuming again they're going to be a full year resident for Hawaii. The filing status is joint. And here's Walter's information. Make sure you enter his occupation. And then the spouse, Skylar. She's self-employed. She has a Schedule C business. And the address, whenever you see Las Vegas, put down Honolulu, Hawaii, and our campus zip code 96816. I think the only thing else we need here on this client info screen is you, the tax preparer. So make sure, according to how you had set up your ProConnect account, you are the preparer. And here is your firm. So if this isn't set, you can always go into this settings button. This settings button used to be down here in the lower left-hand corner in last year's version of ProConnect. Yeah, but here settings, and then you can change your information as preparer and change your firm information here. Eventually, the exit button would be here under your button. Yeah, here sign out. Okay, that's all here on this client info screen. For the blacks, their two parents are dependents, so go ahead and enter them as the dependents, setting up one tab each here for each of them. You could add another dependent here or delete the dependent with this X button. Make up a birth date here for the parents, yeah, something reasonable, kind of course, older than our taxpayers. The relationship is parent. They're not qualifying children, right? They're other dependents, other than a child. Sometimes we call that other qualifying relative. I believe the other items you can leave blank. This won't be applicable because their income is too high to qualify for this food excise tax credit on the Hawaii tax return. Okay, so both parents here. And then we go into income here. And the most common type of income is, of course, W-2s. So enter Walter's W-2 for the school he teaches. I don't think there's anything tricky here. Okay, make sure you pick up the code in box 12. And also that he is covered by the employer retirement plan with this checkoff here. The W-2 was made for Las Vegas, for Nevada, which doesn't have any income taxes, yeah? But if you had income taxes for Hawaii, it should probably be entered probably over here, or possibly down here by entering this state information. This is just to override anything that's listed above, yeah? But maybe you'd have entered Hawaii here and the state ID number. But again, we're not given that. So that's the W-2. And then for Skylar, her Schedule C business, that's this link over here. Notice the tabs up here. All of these tabs are for her one business, this car wash that I've entered here, the type of business. The code number given to us in the problem is a digit off. Yeah, so use this 90 business code, and her company name. Again, the address is Honolulu. We're given the employer ID number, the type of business. This is Skylar, the spouse's business. I think that's all we need on this screen here. All of this screen is this business information tab. And then the numbers, the amounts go in the income statement tab. That's the main income from car washes. We're also given some other income for the sale of some merchandise. I believe they call it sundry, so I put it here in this line for other income. Then all the different expenses. Yeah. All the expenses somewhere in this list here, this alphabetical list. Whenever you have this other, if you click on it, you can see a breakdown. Here I just have the sundries costs. If you have another cost you want to group together under other expenses, you would have another line or more lines down here. Yeah. I think I also broke down the taxes here. Under taxes, under other, notice there's two items here. If I click on it, Here you can see the two items, taxes, which we weren't really given a detail of what type of tax. So I put it here under other. And also license costs. Yeah, and then the subtotal is put into this one blank that will go on the Schedule C. The other type of income is the rental property. So that's this link over here, Schedule E. There's ski condo, which is a vacation home. So let's see the address. Keep it in Utah. Here, vacation. Number type is number 3. And the days it was rented out. Now, a vacation home also has personal use by the blacks, and that's entered over here in this tab, personal use. 21 days. Is there anything else? You need to check off this box here. In the case of the mortgage interest and real estate taxes for this rental property, for the personal use, you could claim them as itemized deductions. But in our case, we're going to be claiming the larger standard deduction. But that's just to just check off, just to indicate that we are going to be doing that, claiming the standard and not deducting the personal part of this mortgage interest and taxes. Yeah. Okay, that's under this tab. Now the numbers for the rental property is under this income statement tab. Here's the rent. Now you have two columns for expenses. Direct would mean expenses incurred just for the rental time the property was rented. Indirect is expenses incurred over the whole year for both rental and the vacation, the personal use. So in our case, all of the expenses will go in this indirect column, and the computer will pick up a percentage of this based upon the rental days divided by the total use days. The rental days that we entered over here under this tab, and the personal use days entered on this tab. Examples of stuff that would go in this direct column, for example, if you incurred advertising costs to advertise for renters, you wouldn't advertise for your own personal use, so that type of cost would go all over here. Or maybe you had a phone line, not a cell number, but a direct line into your house, and you only use it for personal, well, that wouldn't go anywhere because that's not deductible at all, right? But if you have a phone line in there for both personal and indirect, that would go under utilities over here. In our case, that's something being deducted both personal and for the rentals. So that's indirect costs. I don't think we need any other information here. Let me check this more tabs here. Okay, that's don't count. Yeah, we're told we don't have a qualified business income deduction for the rental. That's in the instructions to this problem. Some other items being claimed is the sale of their personal residence. So that's a sale of a capital asset on Schedule D. And then you click on this subcategory against Schedule D. And you're going to see two items here that you eventually need to enter. One is a sale of their home, looks like in New Hampshire. And the other is a non-business bad debt loss here in this second item. So let's take a look at this sale of their personal home. I have a description area, sale of their residence, the date they acquired it. We're told it's 1997, I think. Let me double check the facts here. This is the sale, yeah, right here. Yeah, we're given July 3rd, 1997. They also have another $14,000 they paid in for improvements besides this $80,000 original costs, and also some selling expenses when they sold the property. So in this line, date bought, original date sold, that's also on that 1099-S form. Sales price on that form. Costs, here I have two items. Yeah, that's the original costs and the improvements. And then the total goes here. And then selling expenses. Now the thing is, there's special rules, of course, for selling your own qualified personal residence. You're able to exclude $250,000 of the gain, or in this case, it's married filing joint couple, $500,000 of the gain. So that's indicated under the details here. Okay. You see the same information in this screen now, yeah? But if you look at the top, I don't see the correct tab here. Here's more tabs, yeah, 3 more. And I want sale of home. To force to get that exclusion, again, in our case, $500,000, make sure you check off this box here, sale of home. And because we've met the qualifications of using it for the past 2 out of the 5 years, we're going to check off this box here. And we did get that form 1099S. Yeah, I think that's all we need on this screen here. Yeah, so this information is buried, yeah, in that link over here. Let me go back to the quick entry screen. We just came from the details for this number 1 sale, and then for the bad debt, the non-business bad debt, that's uncollectible from his friend, Walter's friend. So we're told the money was lent to the friend in 2019. Yeah, so you can pick any date in that year. Pick January 1st. But then in the case of uncollectible non-business bad debts, you got to use the end of the year. In the year it goes totally worthless. If it still has value, you cannot take a deduction. So I'm using December 31st of the current year. And you didn't get any money back, that's 0. And here's how much you lent, 5,000. But to indicate this is a non-business bad debt, we got to go into the details again. Let's see if there's something here. I guess I could check off Walter, yeah, as a person that's lending the money. Okay, I don't see it here. Let's go into this Schedule D here. Here's what I want to check off. Again, under this tab, Schedule D, non-business bad debt. So this is going to force the loss to be short-term, a short-term capital loss. If you look at the dates here, it would be long-term, right? But again, the rule for non-business bad debts is that it's treated as a short-term capital loss, as triggered by this checkbox here under this tab. I don't think I need anything else here. Here's that home sale. This is not, of course, the home sale, yeah? At any time as you enter information, you can always preview the forms by this button over here, assuming you're under this input return big tab, yeah? So you can always bring up the screen and you can compare it to the solution that I've linked. Yeah, I have it linked over here. Let me maximize this screen here. So I can jump to the 1040. I can see all the different numbers carrying to the 1040. Here's your Schedule C. Yeah, making sure you pick up the income and deductions. Here's the Schedule E, the rental property, making sure that this is 90%. Yeah, all these expenses are 90% of the gross expenses because of that personal use compared to the total use, or really the business use compared to the total use. Here's Skylar's Social Security Medicare tax on Schedule SE. Half of it will show up as a deduction on Schedule 1. What else? The self-employment tax will be on Schedule number 2. Here's the parents. Yeah, 500 each, getting this $1,000 other relative credit. Okay. You can always look at this anytime, yeah, to check your numbers to see if it's flowing into the return. What else do I want to cover? Is there a deduction here? Let me check. Skylar has her business address, but she also has a home office. So to enter that information under not income, not under the Schedule C, but here under deductions, and in this category, business use of the home, you're going to pick here the Schedule C to link it to the Schedule C. This really Form 8829. And if you have more than one Schedule C, you would have to pick which Schedule C. In her case, they only have one, the car wash. And her square footage at home she uses as a home office compared to the total square footage. And then I think there's two expenses here. One is rent and one is utilities. So the computer is going to allocate this, to be the percentage for business use based upon the square footage we have up here. And that'll flow into the Schedule C. Anything else? Well, let's go to the, let's check the return here. Under the return, you can also preview the return under this form section here, either the federal forms or Hawaii. Again, the Hawaii, I'm only going to look for the N11. I'm not going to really grade it as long as you have the state attached to your file. I'm just going to only look at the federal. So this should match up with the solution file. Again, this one over here that you can download and take a look at and compare. Critical diagnostics, you may want to look at that. All of these would have to be cleared if you were going to be able to electronically file the return. But in our case, a lot of this will not apply because we are not filing electronically. So that's this error here. We're not given enough information to do what they call a due diligence check. This Form 8867 to confirm the identity of the taxpayers, like looking at their driver's license. Okay, and we don't have a P10 number, a preparer tax ID number, so we're going to leave that blank here. Same thing here, the preparer, we're not going to enter our social security number. Okay. We're possibly a paid preparer and we would have to fill this in, but we're not given enough information to do that. We're not going to e-file. Yeah, we're not going to enter any PIN numbers. Now, what is this on here? Schedule C, the first two digits. We were given the ID numbers for the business. And it is telling us right now it's not really a legitimate number, but again, we're going to just use the numbers given to us. Okay, so all of this looks okay for our purposes. So what you're going to turn in here under File Return, you're going to generate the whole PDF file, print to PDF, and the complete return. There's different versions of the complete return, but here, I guess we're just going to do the client copy. Go ahead and create it, download it, double check it. If you have mistakes, go back to the input screen and fix it, and then generate that PDF return again. Here it's still being generated. Now I can download it, download it, check it again, and then upload it again here in our Laulima assignments folder. Go ahead and upload it over here. Okay, so if you have questions, email me or come to the live class meeting. I'll talk to you later.